Group 1.
Are you a fan of this wise man? Don't worry, because today we're going to discuss the fundamental principle of Socrates. First, let me introduce to you our presenters for today, Miss Aridan Asayas, Mr. Ariel Ricablanca, Miss Adeline Balandan, and Miss Jenny Rose C. Bitol.
Rica
Good
Blanca.
afternoon, everyone. I am Ariel P. Ricablanca, one of your presenters for today. So, welcome to the ethical teaching of Socrates. Socrates is arguably the most influential philosopher of all time. His ideas not only changed the course of history, but laid the groundwork for what is today considered Western philosophy. So, who was Socrates? Socrates was born in 469 BCE and spent nearly all of his life in Athens, Greece. Both of his parents are Athenians. He studied primarily in the area of Athens, particularly the grammar, music, gymnastics, and even mathematics. He grew up in the political state of the political territory in Athens. The city was then at the center of Greece's golden age, a time of rapid development and democratization. He was a soldier and a stone cutter, before devoting his life to being a philosopher, which literally means lover of wisdom. But little else is known about Socrates' upbringing or the rest of his life, because he didn't actually write anything down. In fact, everything we know about him is through the writings of his contemporaries, most famously his student, Plato, and his father's name Sophroniscus, a sculptor who cut stone for a Parthenon and taught Socrates the stone-cutting trade. His mother was Panerete and his wife Xantippe. Socrates had three sons, sina Lamprocles, Sophroniscus, and Menexenus. The oldest one, Lamprocles, was about 15 at the time his father died. Socrates died in 399 BCE. The Council of 500 Athenian officials in the time of Pericles condemned Socrates to death for empathy, for not believing in the gods of city, and for introducing new gods and using his ideas to corrupt the youth, and he was offered an alternative to death, paying a fine, but refused it. Socrates fulfilled his sentence by drinking a cup of poison, hemlock, in front of his friends. So, as an adult, Socrates worked as a stonemason as well as served in the military during 3 campaigns. He undergoes the training to become a military and participated in politics. He also believed that wisdom comes from knowing oneself. As you can imagine, this didn't go over well in Athens, and Socrates was very unpopular. When he retired, Socrates took up the occupation the best known for teaching. Well, the great works of Socrates is he is one of the greatest philosophers because he is among the famous figures in world history for his contributions to the development of ancient Greek philosophy, which provided the foundation for all of Western philosophy. He is in fact known as the father of Western philosophy for this reason. His philosophy is evidently ethical rather than ontological, the moral of code of a person or society. So Socrates say about ethics that who once observed that the unexamined life is not worth living must be regarded as one of the greatest teachers of ethics. Yet, unlike other figures of comparable importance such as the Buddha or Confucius, he did not tell his audience how they should live. What Socrates taught as a method of inquiry. So there is a story behind about the Socratic method for Socrates. Athens was a classroom, and he went about asking questions of the elite and common man alike, seeking to arrive at political and ethical truths. Socrates didn't lecture about what he knew. In fact, he claimed to be ignorant because he had no ideas, but wise because he recognized his own ignorance. An ontology is sometimes referred to as the science of being and belongs to the major branch of philosophy known as metaphysics. Ontologists often try to determine what the categories or highest kinds are and how they form a system of categories that provides an encompassing classification of all entities. So he asked questions of his fellow Athenians in a dialectic method. So this is the Socratic method. Compel the audience to think through a problem to a logical conclusion. Sometimes the answer seemed so obvious it made Socrates' opponent look foolish for this. His Socratic method was admired by some and vilified by others. His epistemology is always geared towards moral life. So, what is epistemology for Socrates? Epistemology is the branch of philosophy concerned with knowledge. Epistemology studies the nature, origin, and scope of knowledge, epistemic justification, rationality of belief, and various related issues. A cornerstone of philosophy, epistemology is concerned with knowledge and can most simply be described as interrogating how and why we consider something knowledge. Sometimes referred to as the theory of knowledge. Epistemology considers the relationship between the core concepts of belief, justification, and truth, the criteria largely considered to be met to constitute knowledge. There are much discussion and debate around exactly how each of these criteria ought to be met, leading to the wide range of views and schools of thought. Epistemology is mostly concerned with propositional knowledge, knowledge that one of the most famed epistemological deductions came from the philosopher and mathematician Descartes, like I doubt, therefore I think, therefore I am. Epistemology continues to be an essential and broad branch of philosophy, particularly when we live in times where facts are so often disputed and trust and knowledge is ever more important. Like for example, seeking by questioning our God. There are some who believe in God, but there are also some questioning if who is God. Yeah, there is God, but nobody sees it. So, ito yung parang full of doubt sila, kumbaga. They are keep on telling themselves that we believe in God, but who is He? Parang ganon. So, this is only our example. So, when he speaks of truth, he always seems to that it is the same time discourse of will. Knowledge is not an entity for its own sake, but an ethical of actions. We have an example here, a flower. One scenario of Socrates when he was teaching, he asked his students, Plato and the other one. He asked like this, what you have seen in the flower, diba it's beautiful? Students of Socrates answered, no sir, it is so beautiful. But Socrates answered, yes, we saw this as beautiful flower, but not until it dies. So the students realized that his principle is not just for himself, but for everyone, universally. Thank you.